Coming up on this week's edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
We'll hear how NCBA's efforts in Washington, D.C. help protect the business climate for cattlemen and women when the federal government shuts down. Plus, we'll preview the great experiences CattleCon 26 has to offer for beef producers and their families.
And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Hello and welcome to NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. I'm Kevin Ochsner. From tax policy to trade, decisions made in Washington, D.C. can have a big impact on America's cattle producers. That's why the National Cattlemen's Beef Association works year-round to make sure producers' voices are heard on Capitol Hill. And joining me now from Washington is Ethan Lane, Senior Vice President of Government Affairs for NCBA. Ethan, with the federal government still shut down, what are the biggest concerns right now for cattle producers?
Well, now that we're over the 1 month mark with this government shutdown, this is the part of these types of problems where we start to see some real service delivery impacts from the federal agencies. You know, we have a little bit of inertia in any of these situations where there are some pockets of funding, some things that are residual that allow some of these programs, if the administration, as part of their shutdown plans, allows these things to continue, that they can continue delivering service in some areas. Obviously, we're seeing that with meat inspection and quality grading and all those things that we rely on from USDA. But, you know, we've had problems with FSA office closures and the ability for producers to get work done there, you know, whether it be servicing their loan in some regard or releasing funds or signing up for disaster programs or getting other work done. We've been pleased to hear USDA move towards opening those offices again. Those offices are now open for business in a limited capacity. That's providing a little bit of cover for our producers. But, you know, what we know about these is the longer they go on, the more that degrades across the board. Resources dry up, flexibility goes away. It makes it more difficult for them to continue lessening the burden of the shutdown on producers as they negotiate those larger terms here in Washington. That's continuing to be kind of top of our list is keeping an eye on those impacts, trying to get ahead of those with the agencies and make sure we educate about what the impacts could be if they don't take some action to lessen that burden on producers across the country.
So when Washington stalls, it can create uncertainty back home. How is your team making sure cattle producers aren't left behind in all this political gridlock?
Well, first and foremost, it's keeping those members of Congress and the administration educated about what our industry needs to be successful in this environment. We're in a really unique spot. We have basically the only good market in agriculture right now to talk about. So we're up there on Capitol Hill having conversations with lawmakers about all of the things that they're doing right now because of this shutdown that could disrupt a market that's been very positive for cattle producers across the country. We have low cattle supplies, obviously, and we've talked endlessly about the need to rebuild that herd and the headwinds that we're experiencing there. But we're also talking about that strong consumer demand. We're talking about the fact that prices have remained strong for our product because it's so high quality, because consumers are responding to it. So a lot of our work right now is helping Capitol Hill and the administration understand what's at stake here if they fumble, if they don't execute this properly, if they let this go on so long that we start to see serious disruptions to the U.S. cattle and beef supply chain.
With all the focus on the shutdown, where does that leave progress on NCBA's top priorities we've discussed in the past?
Well, if there's a bright spot here, that's probably it. You know, we really kind of leaned into this reconciliation, one big beautiful bill process that started out at the beginning of this year. That's something that we identified as an opportunity to accomplish all of those tax goals that our industry had going into this Congress, renewing the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, moving the needle in a positive direction on death tax exemption. Obviously, we'd like to do away with the death tax completely, but moving that exemption level to 30 million for a couple, 15 million for individuals was a huge victory. Preserving all of those critical tax provisions that our producers rely on to navigate the federal taxation and build their businesses and acquire new equipment and expand and do all those things they need to do. Preserving all of those, plussing those up, indexing them for inflation, and accomplishing all of our Farm Bill priorities on funding foreign animal disease work, whether that be through the FMD vaccine bank in Kansas or those programs that ensure that we have a robust animal disease footprint here in the United States. We were able to accomplish all of those in that big package earlier in the year. And that really frees us up from having a lot of must-pass legislative priorities in this environment where it's very, very difficult during this shutdown to get any new business done. So that really allows us to focus on direct impacts to producers and what we need to do to navigate this thing and keep the supply chain and our producers' pocketbooks in good shape.
Well, thank you, Ethan, for everything you and your team are doing on behalf of U.S. cattle producers.
It's an honor to do it. Thank you.
Now, a great way to support your business and your fellow cattle producers is by becoming a member of NCBA. It's easy to do. Just call 866-233-3872, or you can visit the website ncba.org. Use a promo code C2C and you'll get a special gift just for our viewers. CattleCon 26 is just around the corner. This can't-miss event has been going strong for more than a century. The first was held right here in Denver back in 1898. And joining us now to provide insight as to the benefits of attending the annual convention is NCBA CEO Colin Woodall. Colin, you talk to probably more cattle producers than any single human in the United States. I'm curious, what's the general mood of the folks who'll be attending this year's attending?
The mood is really upbeat and positive, and it's hard not to be when you look at demand and just how strong that consumer preference for beef is these days, which has helped support and buoy this overall cattle market. In a lot of cases, we're also seeing areas that are getting some moisture that haven't had moisture in quite some time. So all of that is coming together to really give people a lot of momentum, a lot of excitement about where we're going. And I think that's definitely going to be on display during CattleCon in Nashville.
There will certainly be a few things to celebrate, no doubt. I'm curious, give us an update on New World screwworm, specifically you all's position on that. And I'm curious, what kind of conversations do you anticipate at this year's convention regarding that issue?
Well, there's no doubt that New World screwworm will be a big part of the programming in Nashville. We're going to talk a lot about that through Cattlemen's College and the educational sessions that we have. We're also going to talk about it as part of our policy to make sure that we have all the policy that we need to support the efforts to ultimately eradicate New World screwworm. It's coming closer. Now, a lot of that discussion, of course, will be predicated upon just how close it is and whether or not it's made it into the United States by the time we're all together in Nashville in February. But no doubt that we will continue to talk about the efforts to protect producers. And as I said, again, focus on eradication, because that's the only acceptable outcome for NCBA, is to eradicate this pest once again.
Absolutely. You know, there may be some people that don't fully realize just how important this meeting is to the future of our industry. Maybe share just a few comments about some of the business that goes on during this convention.
Well, of course, CattleCon is known for its fun. Yeah. We're going to have a great opportunity to be at the Ryman Auditorium for our own private Grand Ole Opry. We're going to have some great parties and receptions, and of course the trade show is the biggest in the cattle industry. But you're also right, that's where we conduct the business of the association as well. We are a grassroots organization, and the producers who show up to be a part of CattleCon, to participate in our policy committees, have the opportunity to debate issues, to talk about where NCBA needs to take a stand. And it's their work that ultimately provides the direction to us as the association staff on what we need to work on and how we need to go out and be an advocate for NCBA's members.
Yes, and in addition to all that, education is a critical part of every convention. Tell us a little bit about some of the benefits producers tell you about in terms of just the educational information that they receive at convention.
Well, we're really excited for CattleCon 26 because for the first time ever, all education is included as part of the registration.
Wow.
It's the first time we haven't had a separate educational fee. So I think that is a great opportunity for participants to have access to all of the great sessions and seminars that we're going to have. While yes, it's important to have fun, and yes, it's important to direct the industry, it's also important to take something back home that you can implement on your own operation, whether it's a management process, a biosecurity process. And it's Cattlemen's College and all of our educational sessions, both in and out of the trade show, that will help producers do that. So this is going to be a great experience for everybody to have full access to our educational opportunities.
I can't wait to be back in Nashville. Thank you so much for coming to the show and highlighting that.
Thank you, Kevin, and we'll see you at CattleCon.
You bet. Now, there are many excellent reasons to attend CattleCon, and there's still plenty of time for you to make plans to join us. Convention runs from February 3rd through the 5th in downtown Nashville. You can register and get your housing all set up at the website convention.ncba.org. Still ahead on Cattlemen and Cattlemen, we'll explain how a unified effort from state and national beef organizations helps build a stronger future for the industry. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Flagging obstacles, mapping boundaries, setting AB lines. What used to take plenty of time in the tractor seat now gets done with a Gator XUV. Precision ag technology goes nimble in our redesigned utility vehicle. It's tech that's efficient, effective, and easy to implement into your operations. Get more from your Gator XUV with Bluetooth connectivity, AutoTrack ready compatibility, and Green Star ready operation. Upgrade the way you work today.
The success of the beef industry depends on the ability of producers to work together and build a strong, united front. And joining us now to talk more about these efforts is Carol Ann Romo, Executive Director of the New Mexico Beef Council. Carol Ann, how does a strong state and national partnership through the Federation of State Beef Councils help secure the future for the beef industry?
Well, for us as a small state of New Mexico, time, money, and people are resources that are pretty scarce. And so by joining the Federation, we are able to maximize that and stretch the dollar, stretch our time, and get a lot of resources. And one of my favorite ways that we use that is by extending that Beef It's What's for Dinner brand into our state. So we've done that a lot of times, and using that has that weight and that meaning behind it more than, a New Mexico Beef Council logo would have.
The New Mexico Beef Council recently developed a Beef It's What's for Dinner hot air balloon. What inspired that project, and how has it helped raise awareness about beef in your state and beyond?
Yeah, so we have a story, or the lore goes, we were sitting at gymnastics class with a balloon pilot and all of that, but the most important thing is we were looking for a uniquely New Mexican way to advertise beef. The Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta is held in Albuquerque. They say it's the most photographed event in the world, and I tend to believe it. We really wanted to be a part of that, and one of the best ways to be a part of that would be to purchase this hot air balloon that is a 20-year asset. And so, of course, as ranchers are on my board, cattlemen and women are on my board. They loved that asset side, right? That we're purchasing a thing that will last us those 20 and even up to 30 years. And so it's an advertising that lasts. You don't have that when you buy billboards or even digital ads, but we're really excited about that. Again, it's just that uniquely New Mexican way to advertise.
Now, if I understand correctly, you got to go up in that balloon. What was that like?
Yeah, so that is something I never thought I would do. In fact, I think I used the word never about a hot air balloon many times. But as we went through the process and we learned about ballooning, and we fell in love with this whole industry and the people, and they were a lot like ranching. They were willing to lend a hand, not afraid of hard work, not afraid of an early morning. And so as we grew to respect all of these people that helped us in the purchasing process and helped us in the flights leading up to the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, out of respect for them, I said, you know what, I'm getting in there. But I did make my husband go with me, and I did wait for a moment that I thought would be good to get content from above, and that was when we carried the American flag during the national anthem. And so every morning at Balloon Fiesta, there's a balloon of the day. We were that balloon of the day. We carried the American flag. And much like, our cattlemen and women, I'm very much patriotic, and we just had the best experience, the best time. I think my husband and the pilot said they both felt choked up and wouldn't admit it, but they might have had some tears. I thought I would. I was a little too nervous for any tears, but it was quite the experience. And our pilot is Trent Caldwell, is an excellent pilot. Every moment of it, I felt confident in his flying and his landing, which I always thought that would be the scary part, and it wasn't. But yeah, anyways, out of respect for them, I said yes, and then now I think I got to do it again. It was pretty wonderful experience, especially with that beacon of beef.
So are there ways other states can share the benefits from these kind of promotional efforts?
Yeah, so the New Mexico Beef Council hot air balloon is branded Beef It's What's for Dinner, so it can be used in other states and at national events, and we hope it is. Of course, it'll be, pending pilot availability, and you won't be able to use it during my Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, but we are going to work with other states. In fact, there's some ballooning events in most states. If you're, watching this, I bet you've seen a hot air balloon in your state, in your town, and we'd love to work with the other states, the Federation, and any other cattle or agriculture organization that wants to have the balloon there. You call us and we'll make a calendar and we'll make it work and let you know what the costs associated are.
Thanks, Carol Ann, for your time today. Now, if you want to learn more about some of the ways checkoff dollars are being used to increase beef demand, then check out the Beef It's What's for Dinner website. You'll also find things like recipes, facts about nutrition, and great information you can use to talk to your friends and neighbors about the sustainability of the beef industry. Still to come, meteorologist Matt Makins has a look at the long-term weather forecast. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It's time to vote for your favorite competitor in NCBA's National Anthem Singing Contest, sponsored by Norbrook. The winner will sing the Star-Spangled Banner at CattleCon 26 in Nashville. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to perform on the big stage at CattleCon. Voting takes place November 1st to the 15th. To see the finalists and cast your vote, go to convention.ncba.org.
Join the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. There are big benefits to being a member. You'll get industry news in the National Cattlemen, email updates in the NCBA Beef Bulletin, plus discounts just for NCBA members. Join by calling 866-233-3872 or online at ncba.org. Time now for Weather Watch with meteorologist Matt Makins.
Matt Makins here with this week's Weather Watch. A lot going on, a lot of discussion, mostly about this La Nina thing. Is it happening? Well, we're right on the cusp. It's been emerging over the last several weeks and will likely have that impact as we go throughout winter, at least for a moment. So where are we headed with La Nina? That's what we're chatting about today. We've already kind of seen the impact of a drier weather pattern taking over the country. A little bit delayed this year. But it's happening. If you look at the drought released in early September, that's here. And it's got the normal colorations that you would see with those drought monitor reports that you may pick up in your inbox. For the latest release, this is October 21st. Notice the difference here. And we've had some improvements for the west. We've gotten some mountain snows, some mountain rains, some valley rain. Where we have not had any improvement is here to the east. Several weeks ago, drought was growing, and then most recently there is a lot of drought here. We have issues with the Mississippi River levels. We have issues with soil moistures, those kinds of things. That's been growing here over the last several weeks, and it's part of a transition or the growing presence of La Nina, if you will. And recall, if you look at the globe, we stretched that globe out just on a big old flat map here. Most recently we watched this area of ocean cool off. So if we cool that area of ocean off, we're forcing ripple effects globally with our weather pattern. And that is starting the La Nina weather pattern that we'll be in for several months ahead. With kind of a neutral pattern, basically where we are right now, you would expect some dryness here in the central and southern plains. Some moisture in the mountains, perhaps some moisture in Mexico, and then some hints of moisture around the Great Lakes and back east. If we take that dial up, and we take that big bathtub of ocean, if you want, cool it down a little bit. So we're taking our dial into the colder temperatures. Now we're bringing in a weak La Nina, and we spread out a lot more drought across the south. So over the next several months, we're just going to take our dial and we're going to kind of tease you by going neutral, weak La Nina, neutral, back to La Nina, kind of back and forth. This was a similar setup to what we had last year. And in regards to screwworm and how this all plays out, La Nina does make the southern U.S. warmer. So typically in October into November, these shaded regions from Oklahoma City to Raleigh and south, Phoenix, Las Vegas, south into Mexico, that would be the preferred weather region for screwworm, for the flies to be a little bit frisky, if you will. That likely continues into November as well. So the weather is not helping from the screwworm standpoint. It's not cooling us off quickly enough. We'll have more on the La Nina aspect, screwworm impacts, weather-wise, as we go forward in time. But that's it for this week. Matt Makins here. Blessings to you and yours.
When we come back, we'll show you a place you can go for some fun while you're in Nashville for CattleCon. That story is straight ahead. Stay with us.
CattleCon 2026 heads to the heart of Nashville, February 3rd to the 5th. It's the largest cattle industry event of the year. Plus, you can check out the huge NCBA trade show. Don't miss CattleCon 2026, February 3rd to the 5th. Visit convention.ncba.org for more.
Each year, CattleCon provides a variety of one-of-a-kind experiences for cattle producers and their families. And Nashville, the city hosting the next convention, is packed with engaging museums, great food, and loads of family-friendly fun. Here's a look at one attraction you'll want to check out while you're in town.
For more than a century, Gibson has been shaping the sound of music across generations and genres. From the earliest days of stringed instruments to the biggest stages in the world, Gibson has built a legacy unlike any other.
Gibson is 131 years old this year. We predate recorded music. So ever since music has been recorded, it's been made on Gibson instruments. More music has been made on Gibson instruments than any other brand, not even debatable. And there's so many touchstones throughout American popular culture that are all based on music, and Gibson was always center stage at all of those moments. So it's really bigger than any one genre, it's bigger than music itself, it's really American pop culture.
2025 marked 50 years since Gibson moved to Nashville, a city that lives and breathes music.
The company was founded in Kalamazoo, Michigan in 1975. We've moved production here to Nashville, and we've really become a part of the culture of this city. Plus the fact that it's Music City, it's the perfect fit.
The Gibson Garage opened in 2021 in the heart of downtown Nashville, giving fans a one-of-a-kind destination to experience the brand. More than just a retail store, it's become the ultimate home base for Gibson lovers from around the world.
First and foremost, it is a retail location, but it is an ever-changing museum that's constantly being curated with historical artifacts. It's a live concert venue. Slash has played here, Cheap Trick has played here, Peter Frampton's played here, Steve Miller's played here, Chris Isaac's played here, Morgan Wade, Margot Price, Marcus King. That's just like in the last 6 months. So this is a fully functioning live concert venue, and we've had A-list talent from every genre of music playing here. It's also this custom shop, build your own guitar experience. If you want to go in and hand select woods, hand select every single part and pickup that's going to go into it, and then it will go down the street to be built for you.
A visit to the Gibson Garage is more than just shopping. It's an immersive experience for music fans. With so much to explore, it's a must stop for anyone who loves guitars.
First thing you're going to notice is that guitar conveyor belt. There's 200 guitars floating around the top of the space, all of which are playable, all of which are for sale. That's something that comes from our factory. That's how guitars come out of finishing in the factory, because warm air rises, they cure a little faster as they go through to get their coats a clear coat. And then you never know what's going to be in that center display case, from historical artifacts to guitars that were just featured in movies to celebrity-owned memorabilia. There's always something new and changing every time you come in.
The Gibson Garage isn't just a place to look. You can pick up and play the guitars for yourself. It's a hands-on experience that lets every visitor feel the craftsmanship and sound that makes Gibson legendary.
Every single guitar in the garage is playable, and we encourage anyone and everyone to come in, pick up, play, plug in, and check stuff out. This is a fully hands-on experience. We want everyone to fully engage with all of the instruments from all of our brands. It's more than just Gibson, it's Epiphone, it's Kramer, there's all Mesa Boogie amps, there's all sorts of different things to come in. But yes, by all means, come in with the full intention of picking up guitars and playing them. If you're not a guitar player, there's still plenty of cool things to see and do here. Plus, even if you don't play, just gawking at guitars for a half an hour is a lot of fun if you're already hanging out in Music City.
The craftsmanship behind a Gibson guitar is much like the work of farmers and ranchers. It takes patience, skill, and pride to create something that can be passed down through generations.
We are built on craftsmanship, American craftsmanship in particular, 131 years of the finest instruments in the world made by the finest men and women, luthiers and craftspeople that we could find. With basic care and maintenance, that guitar will last you your entire lifetime and you can pass it down to your kids. And with basic care and maintenance, it will last them their entire lifetime and they can pass it down to their kids. So we're not making disposable goods. We are making heirloom quality meant to last several lifetimes of enjoyment and making art and music. You know, that's craftsmanship is our whole gig, man.
Well, that wraps up this edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Thanks so much for spending time with us. We'll see you again next week right here on RFD TV.